do you have to have any kind of special permitting to be able to keep a pig? Because when we were in town, we were forbidden.
He doesn't exist.
He doesn't exist. We had goats that didn't exist.
Very nice.
Can I get a video of him?
Oh, absolutely.
Is that okay? Hey, pig.
His name's Pork.
I love it.
Hey, buddy.
You don't exist, huh?
He does not exist.
When you can't even smell him back here.
No, he's pretty good.
Hi, little guy. How are you? We love our pigs at my house.
I plan on loving him very soon.
Yes, exactly. Hi, pig. So how old is he? 3 months?
Oh no, he's actually, I bought him around March.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was probably about 2 months old at that point.
He's good size.
Would you like some of this? Here you go, pig.
So do you feed him pellets or lots of scraps, or?
I did give him pellets to get him up to this size, and now I'm finishing him off on fruit.
Yeah, good for you.
So I have a friend that has an orchard, and I just grab big bins full of apples and
Yeah, that's nice.
apricots and things. He's been eating a lot of squash because my friend Zucchini's got a little too big,
Yeah,
and he seems to like them. So
that's what we like to feed ours on in fall. Is we do a lot of pumpkins, and then we have a pumpkin patch the next year that's kind of vigorous.
what?
He's a big
Right.
That's pretty cool. Did you build it yourself?
Yes.
So what kind of
Building.
is it? Is it cardboard?
It's actually down this little slough, and it waters plants down there. But eventually, I may want to take it into some kind of pond type system, and then run it, gravity feed it over, and actually put in some planting boxes and feed a garden that way.
Yeah.
So the building is actually made out of reclaimed pellets. And the great thing about that is because they have this natural hollow here, you can put your insulation in there. So it's the fan for the wet wall.
And do you let your cats get in here to help with mice?
I don't know if he helps with mice or not, but I have an outdoor cat, and so this is just a perfect place to feed him without feeding all the neighborhood cats. He even has a little door down there to go in and out of. To admit, there are not any mice problems since he started hanging out in here.
Which is nice because you can't have like rats and stuff that reach through the cage.
Yes, rats will actually chew the feet right off of the kits.
Yeah.
But then these guys here are my what I call grow outs, and so they're ones that have been weaned from their mom, but they are not old enough for me to tell whether or not they're a show quality rabbit or if they're a meat quality rabbit. These guys actually have been slated for meat because they are old enough. I was able to tell that they have some faults that make them non-showable. This one over here is show quality, and so he actually gets tags that show he's a show rabbit. I also use tags to be able to keep track of who the parents are, whether it's a buck or a doe, and things like that, his birth date.
And what is your breed?
This is American Chinchilla.
Ah.
So they are derived from the French breed called the standard chinchilla. But they selectively bred them to make them larger because, Americans, we have to make everything bigger.
Right.
And they've made these specifically for the fur market and for meat.
They have lovely fur. It reminds me kind of the silver fox with a little bit of the mix. Although obviously gray. Yeah.
Yeah, these were designed to look very much like the chinchilla rodent from South America, because people were wearing a lot of chinchilla coats, and so they developed these to be larger so that they could make a coat out of, say 20 animals instead of 400.
Right.
And so here I have my show quality rabbits.
And about what, if you're selling any of your rabbits for breeding, about what are you getting for them?
I get anywhere between about $40 for one that is not proven. It's just a baby that I've decided is show quality, or I feel it will do well on the show table, up to about 80 to 100 for a grand champion or one that's a proven breeder. I have several grand champions in my barn, and so I don't show them very often, but I use them for breeding purposes. And this guy has a pet. My rabbit has a pet guinea pig, and they actually sleep together, and when he lays down, the guinea pig will lay over his back.
And what's your average size when they kindle? Like, how many babies are we having?
Generally between 6 and 10.
Yeah.
I've had, this one up here just had 8. She had 5. One was a DOA. That actually does happen quite frequently where, one baby just doesn't make it. And so she has 4 currently. This one, she actually lost 5 babies for various reasons and ended up with 3 out of the 8. She has been rebred, and so she's going to hopefully have some more babies on the 22nd, because these guys are almost old enough to wean.
And what age are you weaning at?
About 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 to 10 weeks is about right for fryers, and it also gives you a good idea of whether or not they are show quality yet. And if I'm not quite sure, I will keep them, because it's way better to keep a rabbit a little bit longer and just have to cook it a little slower.
Right, exactly.
than to miss out on an opportunity to have a really good show quality rabbit. And really, when I say show quality, the qualities that make them show quality are the same qualities that make them really good for a meat breed. And so the best rabbits are, the best on the show table, but they're also the best on the dinner table. And so they'll produce, hopefully, the best babies. It was really an eye-opening thing, and that's why I only keep animals that are really sweet.
Yeah. It makes a difference. If you have to have anybody else ever do your chores, you don't want to have to warn them, okay, in this cage,
this
gloves
one
on.
bites. This one, exactly. Just that they are one of the cheapest animals to raise. They only require, if you have 1 doe and 1 buck, you only need these 2 cages. You can actually raise the babies 100% out with their mom until they get to butchering age, which is wonderful because you don't need that 3rd cage.
Right.
I have them because I have the space. But they're very easy to handle, they're very easy to butcher, and they are, bar none, the healthiest meat that you can possibly eat. They also take 6 times less resources than cattle to be able to produce the same amount of meat.
So what method do you use for your butchering? I hold them by their hind legs and bonk them on the head.
I started out doing the bonking, but I'll show you the tool that I use.
Oh, the ringer.
The
rabbit ringer.
The rabbit ringer. And so you're really just holding the rabbit, and you just slide them in here, and they don't even know what's happening, and you just let their weight pull them down and grab their hind legs and pull.
Yeah.
And it's instant. That's the great thing.
They don't regain consciousness because
Never.
everything's dislocated.
Everything's dislocated. Their brain actually becomes separated from, so they become brain dead.
Right. Okay.
And that's the most important thing. They immediately go into a seizure, and that's how you can tell whether they're dead versus they're just stunned.
Right.
I do have one of the captive bolt stunners.
What do you think of it?
It's good, but if you turn it just wrong, you can bounce off the skull, especially on larger rabbits.
Okay.
And so this actually is more foolproof. The other is probably a little easier because you don't have to even take them anywhere. You can take them straight out of the cage and just basically bonk them.
I want to get a little bit closer up. So did you put this one together? Because I know they have the station where you can hook them in that they sell, but it's really expensive.
It is extremely expensive.
I like
this one is just the 1/2-inch conduit pipe and a couple of the metal elbows. And then I just screw it into these little plates and bolt them into the wall. And it is...
And you sharpen these, or did you find them somewhere sharpened already?
I found these already sharpened, but I don't like them because you actually have to shove them through the pelt of the rabbit and into, between the 2 bones of the back leg. So I actually just use this.
With a slip knot on it?
Yep, exactly. And so I just put the leg through here, pull it down.
Yeah, and that's what I like to do too. It just is fast. And
it is. It's very fast. It's very simple to reset, and you're not having to deal with them slipping off of this or their leg getting broken.
Because they're jerking, and if they're jerking, they have a tendency to kick their leg right off, and then you have a dirty...
Then you have a dirty rabbit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, this works very well, and I just put a bucket down here, and I put a couple of garbage bags in there, and so that way everything can just go straight down into the bucket.
Yeah. Well, good deal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, and I also use this magnetic strip
For your knife?
Yep, you can put your knife over here, and also
that is such a good idea.
your loppers.
I had not thought of that because that's what I use. I use loppers to get everything off. It's your knife can't get through it without going dull.
Precisely. It allows you to go straight through the bone, and so
That's
this,
a great idea.
which I just picked up at Harbor Freight for I think about $4.
So it's a real strong magnet.
Oh, it's very
Nice
yeah,
and
it's
strong.
pretty strong. And so you just
deal.
take the knife and just slack it up there while you're
That's
working on the
awesome.
rabbit.
Good deal.